but you got Black Snape. Black Snape. This is not a faithful adaptation of the source material.
I want a young, trans, Hispanic Harry Potter. We'll call him, what's the Spanish name for Harry? Enrique Potter. Okay, so they announced a Black Snape, and geeks and gamers are furious about it. The guy without eyebrows is fucking furious. I don't know if it's the way that this guy lights his camera. And I think the fact that he makes his hair like really tall, like I feel like that it's like an optical illusion where it makes his already enormous forehead look like a lot bigger. And then he lights his videos in a way that makes it look like he doesn't have eyebrows. Does he not have someone in his life that pulled him aside and be like, hey bro, your videos make it look like you don't have eyebrows? No one has said this to him.
And now it is officially official. Snape is fucking black in the Harry Potter series. The same Harry Potter series that HBO came out when they announced it and said, hey, we want to do a faithful adaptation of the books. And as much as people love these movies, and they do love these movies, there's a lot of criticisms to be had for the adaptation itself, some of the things they left out, some of the parts that they included, all of those things. And Harry Potter book fans, the tens of millions of them all around the world of all different races and gender, blah, 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 all this stuff, they wanted to see the books done properly. Well, already right off the bat with this first casting announcement, we know that is not going to be the case. This is not a faithful adaptation of the source material. Papa Esidu has officially been cast as Severus Snape in HBO's new Harry Potter series via.
First of all, this guy's great, right? Like, what have I seen him in? He's got gravitas. Oh, he was in Men. He was in Black Mirror. He was in The Outrun, which is a movie I just watched recently. I May Destroy You is one that I missed. Yeah, this guy's Gangs of London. That's what I saw him in too. He was really good in that show.
Variety. Now, they announced this much in the way.
They're going to be like, in page 73 of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Severus Snape was very clearly identified as having pale features and long dark hair.
That I thought they wanted to announce these things, which was throw a bunch at him, do a bunch of casting confirmations,
I want a young, trans, Hispanic Harry Potter. I'm gonna go on record right now. I want a young, trans, we'll call him, what's the Spanish name for Harry? Enrique. I want a young, trans male, Jewish Hispanic Harry Potter named Enrique Potter.
Papa Esidu in there.
Or I guess it would be Potter.
So that can kind of be overshadowed by some of
Enrique Potter is what I want for this series.
Other, castings, and I'm going to be real. I think that Janet McTeer could play a great Professor McGonagall.
First of all, I'm excited about this casting, bro. Jonathan Lithgow as Dumbledore is fucking incredible casting. Same with this guy, the guy from Shaun of the Dead as Hagrid. Oh my God. Nick Frost as Hagrid is unbelievably great casting here.
McGonagall. I think that Nick Frost could be an awesome Hagrid. But you got Black Snape. Black fucking Snape. Are you excited, Jay, to see?
The rule of thumb for any fictional character, if there's any kind of like race swapping or whatever, when we're talking about adapting a book or whatever, is the race of that person integral to the role? Like Prince T'Challa, pretty important that character be black because he's the fucking king of an African nation. So it makes sense, Or like even James Bond, like that would be like, I would be fine with the race swap, but you can make an argument there's like that him having that race is kind of integral to the like source material, more so than this, I think.
Black Snape get bullied by James.
Yeah, like Mulan. Actually, you know what? I completely recant when it comes to Bond. I don't think that. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, yeah, like Mulan. Like you can't have like a black Mulan or like a white Mulan. If it's a character like Severus Snape, where his race is not a part of the narrative at all, then it doesn't matter. All bets are off. Who cares, right?
In Sirius Potter, are you excited to see him get made fun of for how poor he is and the type of neighborhood he comes from all these other people in school? Are you excited to see him hanging underneath a tree by two white kids? Are you?
What? Guys? I thought these guys were like garden variety anti-woke content guys. Are they just Are these guys Nazis?
You get made fun of for how poor he is and the type of neighborhood he comes from all these other people in school. Are you excited to see him hanging underneath a tree by two white kids? Are you?
Wow. What?
Excited to see his entire life?
Nah, I think he just means hanging out. I think it's pretty obvious he was making an explicit reference there.
Be about simping for a fucking white woman who doesn't want him. That's what I can't wait to see from Black Snape in Harry Potter.
Witch King with $5. There's a scene in the movies and books where Harry's father and friends tortured Snape by hanging him upside down. Oh, that's some pretty important context. Okay.
Makes me wonder how much of the original story they might actually change just because. Even though they are calling it an adaptation. I mean, they did say faithful adaptation, but it makes me wonder if they're going to
I'm fairly positive. In fact, no, I am positive that J.K. Rowling is working very closely with the HBO team. She's directly consulting with the production team for this HBO series. I'm pretty sure contractually she has veto power, is what I remember reading here. The idea that like you can criticize HBO for not being super faithful when they're working directly hand in hand with J.K. Rowling is obviously pretty absurd.
change a lot, or maybe just enough to
Yeah, I guess J.K. Rowling is woke now.
make it for a mod.
Well, she was kind of woke before the anti-trans stuff, right? Because wasn't she like, yeah, Dumbledore's gay? She like retconned Dumbledore to be gay, right? Didn't she talk about like regretting not having more representation in Harry Potter?
Modern audience. That's the thing. And also, have we heard anything from JK?
She has
about
not
this?
said a goddamn word
Yeah,
about
she's
any
been
of this.
very
Even after this
quiet.
official casting.
She's going to come out and be like, I'm so excited. They're doing such a great job. It's going to be super faithful. And they're not going to cover this watch.
The crazy thing is, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, but the only thing I really know about JK, she's like anti-trans on social media, but also
she's woke. Dumbledore was gay.
this is just theme park silliness. When Universal was building the Harry Potter land, Hogsmeade, things like that, she was actually, her and a team came there, and they all tell the same tale. They came in and she inspected like every little detail to make sure that it fell in line with the book and the world that she created, to the point where they had to tear out a certain fountain and rebuild it because there was a few things on it that was incorrect. So she was like, the only way you're going to have this in your theme park is if I double check it and it's exactly in line with how I made my world. So that's the only thing I kind of know about her. And it makes me wonder how she feels.
Again, I'm pretty sure she has veto power here. Hold on. J.K. Rowling involvement in HBO series. HBO has released a statement confirming Harry Potter creator J.K. Rowling's involvement in the TV reboot and lauding her invaluable contribution. Just a few months after HBO stated a commitment to inclusive, diverse casting for Harry Potter TV reboot, the network has confirmed proudly transphobic creator J.K. Rowling has been very involved in the beginnings of the project and lauded the author for her invaluable contribution. Rowling has been expressing anti-trans views, blah, 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 blah. HBO's chief content officer, Casey Bloys, told reporters earlier this month that Rowling was very, very involved in the process of selecting the writer and the director for the upcoming TV series, and added that her anti-trans statements, quote, haven't affected the casting or hiring of writers or production staff. So yeah, my understanding is that she's probably a part of the process of picking the cast.
About this, or maybe she just said, well, I don't have this. I don't even think she has any power, I guess, just to speak out. Maybe she's, because she is a liberal, she's in a tough seat because she's like, I can't speak out against this because people will call me names. So maybe I'll just be quiet. I don't know.
I do not know. Look, when they came out, Warner Brothers was very much like, hey, we're excited to have her part of the team. We're excited to do this. She created this world, blah, blah, blah. However, we have heard nothing from her. And look, you can look in the past, and when the cursed child,
Did she update anything on her Twitter? J.K. Rowling. She's still like literally only tweeting about trans stuff. It's all she tweets about is trans stuff. Also a picture of her pets, and then more trans stuff. Classic. It's literally nothing but trans stuff. Like she's a really good example. I feel like her and Dave Chappelle are kind of similar, where they get radicalized by their own backlash. So they share some opinion that is maybe unpopular, and then they get a really bad reaction to the opinion, which makes them want to dig their heels in more into that opinion. And then at some point, their whole personality becomes about that opinion. It's like a vicious spiral that some prominent figures on social media kind of get sucked into.
did a play.
There's like 1,000 examples of this.
Right, play The Cursed Child. Hermione got cast as a black woman, and there was obviously a lot of outrage over that. This is 10 years ago or something. JK's like, well, you know, curly brown hair, blah, blah, blah. I'm fine with black Hermione. I love black Hermione. Not saying that Hermione's black in her books, but just being like, hey, you know, here's what it says in here. I'm okay with them doing this in this play. Snape is different. And
wait, why is Snape different? Because he was, okay. He's going to say it's because he was explicitly described as being pale, is what he's going to say.
And Snape is one of the first characters that she illustrated. It's one of her favorite characters in the entire story. She has specific depictions of him that she drew a long time ago, even though she's not an artist, of what she thought he looked like.
If J.K. Rowling comes out with a post like celebrating the casting or whatever, are these guys going to recant and just be like, okay, I guess she's cool with it? Or they would just turn on her, right?
And we have heard nothing. The only thing you see from J.K. Rowling is complaining about
the sense of betrayal that I feel right now as a fucking 43-year-old Harry Potter fan who's deeply concerned about narrative faithfulness is astonishing. Her silence in this moment is a betrayal to the tens of millions of 40-plus Harry Potter fans that are feeling hurt in this moment. We're feeling pain right now. And the fact that she's not speaking up is very disappointing as a fucking 57-year-old Harry Potter fan in 2025.
Trans people. And considering this is an official announcement, I would expect something from her, but I've seen nothing. There was one person that we know at Warner Brothers who said that she's...
How old is Ryan Kinnell? Ryan Kinnell age. 1988. He's 36 years old. The pain that I'm experiencing right now as a 36-year-old Harry Potter fan who is deeply invested in the source material accuracy of the new Harry Potter HBO series. I can't even put into words how hurt I feel right now in this moment.
Is not super happy with how a lot of this is going down. Keep in mind, John Lithgow, an American, has been cast to play Dumbledore. When J.K. Rowling had casting control for the movies, her rule was no fucking Americans, only British actors. And so now one of the first things we see is an American who gets cast to play Dumbledore. Now I have no idea how she feels about it. I wouldn't be surprised.
Wait, how do you feel about it? Are you just as pissed about John Lithgow as you are about this guy?
If she's not happy but doesn't feel like she can say anything about it. She obviously, I don't agree with probably 99% of her political takes.
I want a gay Dumbledore sex scene in the first episode of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone episode 1. I want Harry to walk in and just catch Dumbledore just fully in it, you know?
Other than her takes on trans people.
I want that gay sex scene to be as explicit as it was in episode 5 of The White Lotus season 1.
But I have no idea how she actually feels about this.
Eventually someone's going to ask her and she'll have to make a statement. She'll have to say something. Either she's just going to be like, I'm okay with it, or not. I mean, that's just, it's one of the two. If she came...
Incredible commentary there.
Out a full, if hypothetical, if you think she came out on a full court press and say, man, I do not like this casting.
She's not going to do that.
This is their own version. This isn't like the original. I mean, nothing will probably change, right? But
how old is Jay? Jay, drunk 3PO. This guy has a IMDb page. Drunk 3PO was an actual series. His name's Jay David. Jay David, age. Guy looks like he's like 42, I'm going to say. He's a writer. He's a writer-director. He's known for Park Hoppin', Drunk 3PO, and Achromatic Chronicles. What is this guy's name? Or what is this guy's age? It doesn't say. I'm going to guess this guy's 42 years old. He has very strong opinions about Harry Potter.
But it'll definitely add a lot more controversy to this series before it gets released. So That's all I could think about.
I mean, if that was the goal, are they not playing right into it? If the goal was to be controversial, to drum up interest in the series, you know, to get like the viewership numbers up or whatever, which I'm sure those numbers are going to be very good for HBO, but seems like mission accomplished if you're making a video about it.
It's maybe.
It would. I mean, it's not like she fucking needs the money.
That's true.
But I just don't see that happening. I don't see her being so antagonistic towards it before it airs. I just don't see that. Again, all you see from her all day on Twitter is about chicks with dicks. That's it.
Yeah.
So until that casting happens, I don't know if she'll comment.
That actually speaks like so poorly to her character. Like, imagine your entire existence every day, seemingly all day, is you are scrolling through your Twitter and arguing with people about one particular topic every day, all day. That's you know, that's a sign of somebody whose life is not on a good track. I mean, she's obviously enormously wealthy and everything, but if that's how she's choosing to spend every single day, that's just obsession. That's just like doom scrolling constantly and obsession. So like, how good can her personal life be in this moment? It's kind of deranged, right?
I'm being real. And a lot of people want to try to frame this as some sort of right-wing backlash. It's not. This is a Harry Potter fan backlash. Are the right
Has nothing to do with politics.
Right-wingers that are upset about it? Yes, of course. Are there people that have no idea, no investment in anything Harry Potter and are just talking about it because race swap? Yes. But there's also a lot of people, even very progressive, you know, Harry Potter fans and channels and things like that. They might not be saying is
I just don't understand spending emotional energy being upset about like fictional works. I just don't understand. I can understand being like, this is me being a little biased, but I can understand being upset and about or emotionally invested in politics because that's consequential. You know, policy actually matters. It affects people in a way that like sports or cultural commentary does not. I can't imagine spending more than a couple seconds being upset about a casting decision for a show. That seems to me to be a tremendous waste of emotional energy. Like, why would you devote more than 2 minutes to being upset about a casting decision? Like, when there's so many other things in your personal life and going on in the world that matter 1,000 times more.
Outright is maybe someone like me, but they're saying, look, I'm all for diversity, but this is the wrong person to race swap. Think of all the things that changed. The guy that Harry Potter is suspicious of immediately upon the first moment he sees him and always thinks he's up to no good is now the black guy. And you talked about them potentially changing things in the background. I think.
What is this like retrofitting of like, think of everything you have to change now because what do you have to change? Seriously. Like, what do you have to change? Do you have to explain that he's black? No, you don't have to do any explanation. You don't have to reference it. You literally don't have to a single time reference Snape's new race in the show. You don't have to explain it. You could adapt every single book completely faithfully, word for word, and you wouldn't have to change anything. Nothing. Witch King with $5, bro. You're doing Asmongold and MAGA cruelty. These people don't agree with me, so I'm gonna mock them. Some people latch onto fiction as an escape. I think these guys are cancerous in terms of the discourse they give. I think these guys are like, they perpetuate toxic fandoms. I think like creators like these guys are the reason why like game devs and show writers get death threats. I think people like this guy are the reason why the actress that played Abby in The Last of Us 2 had people doing death threats to her newborn child. These guys are a huge part of that and everything they represent in online discourse. They're so unbelievably toxic
that they will feel like they need to change the way some of this is portrayed because of the way it will look now with the racial connotations in play. So I 100% think he's going to be. Snape is a complicated character. And if you've only watched the movies, you probably don't understand because, quite frankly, it wasn't a great adaptation. Alan Rickman gave an incredible performance. And with what they were doing in the movies, he played him incredibly well.
That's a hot take. Is Alan Rickman not beloved by Harry Potter fans? Is his take on Snape not iconic?
However, the real Snape is different from that. The real Snape is just not some unsung hero. He's much more complicated and complex. He's a piece of shit. Snape truly is a piece of shit. And they don't do a good enough job in the movies of showing that, yes, while he did some heroic things and was working for Dumbledore, he also did a lot.
Spoiler alert. Oh no. Oh no.
Of awful things that he had no reason to do other than the fact that he fucking hates Harry and he hated James and he has been like this all his life until he decided to go into Dumbledore's service, essentially, for him to attempt to save Lily, which obviously failed. And I feel like they're going to, instead of doing a true adaptation showing both the great and the ugly sides of Snape, which is what they should show, I feel like they're going to try to show him in a much more sympathetic light. And it's just disappointing because
how are you arriving at this conclusion? How, all because of like the race of the person that was cast in the role? And we're already doing this level of speculation? How did you arrive at that conclusion? What does the fact that he's black have anything to do with all that?
It could have been a great opportunity. This is the ugly, hook nose, sallow skin, greasy shoulder length black hair motherfucker. The dude who looks like he walked out from GQ in Africa is who you cast to play a character who we have maybe more descriptions of than anyone else. It's fucking disgusting and it's stupid and it's bullshit and every single person knows it. And it's a
oh my God, bro. How much you want to bet that this show is like one of the most highly viewed HBO series of all time? How much money you want to bet on that?
Stupid decision.
I don't think like normal, quote unquote, like normal emotionally adjusted adults are affected one way or another by this casting. I'm excited because I've liked this guy in other shows or in other movies. I've seen like 3 things with him in it, and this guy definitely has gravitas. Nerdrotic has a video from a month ago talking about Black Snape. And the name of the video is The Harry Potter Show is DOA. Like I like, how much you want to bet that this show is like literally the most viewed HBO show of all fucking time?